Hi, this is Mr. Thompson at the Pathways Innovation Center for Financial Literacy. I'm recording this video for my students who may have missed in Chapter 2 when we start talking about compound interest. We're going to be doing an activity in Google Classroom, an assignment for which you're going to have to actually manually calculate interest. And so with that, we've got the compound interest formula. You'll forgive me because the video for being a little shaky because photo booth on iTunes, or rather on an iPad or MacBook rather, everything's flipped. So it's kind of hard for me to get the video in there right. Down is up, left is right. So please forgive the shakiness of the video as I go through this. So here you'll see the future value formula. So FV stands for future value, PV stands for present value. 1 is going to mean include the original amount invested mathematically. So this is going to refer to what we call principal, or the original amount invested. And then sorry, it's backwards again, like I said, so it's hard to do. R stands for the rate of return, and that's going to be in decimal form. And M is going to, sorry, again, it's backwards. M is going to stand for how often that gets compounded, or how often interest will be paid a year. And then M here, same thing. So that's the same number you'll put in there when you plug into this formula. And then T is time in years. And you'll have people use different letters algebraically to explain this. So I would ask you to pause the video now and to go ahead and record what you have on the board here into your notes. I do want you also to include over here if it's annual or yearly, so interest is calculated and paid once a year, you're going to use the number 1. If it's semi-annual, in other words, it's going to be paid every 6 months, you're going to use the number 2. If it's going to be paid monthly, every month, you're going to use the number 12 for M. And then if it's quarterly, you're going to use the number 4 for M. And that it means every 3 months. So if you take 12, divide by 4, you'll get 3. And so a financial quarter, you'll hear this quarter, this stock has had profits and losses. So when you hear that term quarter, you're talking January, February, March is quarter 1 of the fiscal year. And then April, May, June is quarter 2 of the fiscal year. July, August, September is quarter 3. And October, November, December is quarter 4. And then, of course, T is the number of years you're trying to calculate. So now that I've oriented you to the compound interest or future value formula as it's known, and again, you'll see people use different letters. So instead of putting FV or PV, they might just use a letter like F for future value or P for present value. So they'll substitute those letters. Don't let that confuse you. I'm doing what Dave has us do, so you'll understand what we're talking about here. And there aren't great videos on the internet about this, so that's why I'm going to record that. First of all, we do want to review order of operations in math. You're going to do your parentheses first, then do your exponents, then do your multiplication, then do your division, then do your addition, and then do your subtraction. So PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. See, your math teacher told you that you would be using this later in life. Well, to invest money so that you can be financially free and have power over your own life, so that you have the freedom to make choices and not have those choices made by other people for you, you really did need to know this math. One other thing I did want to verify is in that formula, you also have R, which is the rate of return. That's the interest rate you're earning on your investments. One more thing that we need to review really quickly is if I have 10%, what you need to do is imagine the decimal there, the imaginary decimal, and just move it over 2 places to the left. So 10% is going to be 0.10. In terms of decimals. And the reason why, if you do this in decimal, that's going to be 10 100ths, right? Because this is the 100ths place. And so that's why 10 out of 100 is 10%. So I just want to do a quick review on that because you're always going to have to put your percentages in any formulas we use in this class in decimal form first. Okay, so now let's do a very simple example. So we want to know the future value of an investment. We are going to invest, let's just say we invest $100, okay, and 1 plus using the formula. And again, this will say include that original $100 as you do this. I'm not a math teacher, so hopefully some of you will catch what I'm throwing down. But 1 plus is just part of the formula. And let's say we did it at 10%. So again, we're going to do like we did up above, 10%, move that decimal 2 places to the left, and so it's going to be 10 over 100. So let's go ahead and go 0.10 in decimal form. And let's say that that interest just is calculated and paid out once a year, to do a very simple example. So again, we're going to use 1 here because interest is paid out once a year. And we're curious about after 40 years, how much money will we have? We just did an assignment in Google Classroom where you played around with an investment calculator at bankrate.com. And you know, this is basically the mathematical formula that investment calculator is using underneath the hood. A lot of people use, you can find the formula in Google and do this as a Google spreadsheet. And I've actually got one with the assignment you're going to be doing with this, where I actually, if you want to look at the formula, I've got the syntax there. In other words, the what you have to put into a cell on a spreadsheet in Google Sheets to calculate this, and it's already automatically calculating for you. Okay, so order of operations. First, I have to do what's in parentheses. So it's going to be 0.10 divided by 1, so that's actually going to be just 0.10, and then plus 1. So that's going to be 1.10 in the parentheses. Okay, and then you're going to do the exponents. So you're going to have that 1 times 40 left over here, which is just going to turn out to be 40. Now, on your iPhone or Android calculator, you have a button that says x to the y, and to the y power. And the way to put that into the calculator is to type in what's in parentheses, 1.10, and then you press this button, x to the y, okay, and then it'll give you that little caret and give you a parentheses. And then you're going to put the power inside. Then you've got to find the parentheses button on the calculator, close your parentheses, and hit enter. And so I will need to use my calculator to do that. And so hopefully you'll be able to see that. So what I've got, you do have to turn your phone sideways. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the first amount, 1.10. Okay, so I've got that typed in. And now I've got, you see I've got 1.10 typed in. And now I'm going to, do you see the X to the Y button here right above my finger? So I've got to press that button next. It's kind of hard to do this while holding the computer. And then I'm going to put 40 in the parentheses. And then, so just to show you what that looks like in my calculator, I did press that X, I put 1.10, and then I pressed that X to the Y button, and it gave me the beginning parentheses, and then I put my exponent of 40 in. And now above the number 8, you'll see how I close my parentheses. So I'm going to press that to close my parentheses. I'm going to try to hit this with my pinky. So that's what it looks like on the calculator when you have it entered. Okay, and now I'm going to press the equal sign. It's kind of hard for me to do. And that yields 45.26 if I round up to the hundredths place. So now that I've done that math, I've got 45.26, and looking back at this, I still have my original, whoops, it's backwards, 100 there. So then I just got to multiply that times 100. So if I take this and multiply this times 100 on my calculator, it tells me that that will be worth $4,525.93. Yeah, it's hard to read backwards on a screen. When you record in Photo Booth, everything is reversed. So $4,525.93. Okay, so what we're saying here, see if I can show this. So there's the answer, okay? And just so you see what's happening in the formula, to help you understand mathematically, 100 is the amount you originally invested. The 1 plus is just part of the formula, but what it's saying is include the principal, okay? So 1 plus, and then this is going to be the compound interest part. So this is your interest rate in decimal form, 0.10. This is how often interest is paid out. So if I'd put a 12 here to figure out what that is monthly, that would basically take that annual percentage rate of 10% and divide it by 12. And what this will do here, this part right here, is it will actually give me a monthly percentage rate then by putting that 12 there. And so that's what that does. And then outside the parentheses, this again is how often interest is paid. 12 if it's monthly, 4 if it's quarterly, 2 if it's semi-annual, or 1 if it's annual. In this example, we did annual, once a year. And then 40 is how long, how many years. So again, that's T in our formula, and that's how many years in years. So on an original investment of $100 at 10%, okay, for 40 years, at the end of that $100 would be worth $4,525.93. Okay, so with that said, we're going to do another example, and this is what I would like you to do, and show me when you do your makeup so I know you know how to do this. Go ahead and stop the video and rewatch it as many times as you need until you can do this problem on your own without help. So let's do future value is equal to, and let's do a $10,000 investment. Okay, let's say for 5 years you'd save $2,000 a year, and now you're ready to go invest that. Okay, so we got the 1 plus, and let's say we earn 12%. Okay, and again, that's 12%, so we just go 2 decimal places over, and that's how I get that into decimal form. Okay, and now let's say that that's going to compound monthly. So every month interest will be paid. So again, what this is going to do is take the 12% annual or yearly rate and divide by 12, which will give you the monthly percentage rate, or MPR. Okay, and then you've got to do the M here, so that's 12 times T. And let's find out after 50 years how much money that's going to be. Show that to me and show me your work so that I know you know how to do this, because there is a question on the test where you've got to do this 3 times. Thanks, and this has been Mr. T.